All the way back in 2020, a couple of weeks after the launch of Valorant, Riot posted the first entry in the Ask Valorant series of articles on the Valorant website. Ask Valorant is a series of articles where the dev team answers common questions from the player base, such as will there ever be new guns? I mean kinda. Why is aim punch so annoying? And most importantly, will there ever be a replay system? I want to go back through these old articles and see how well Riot has kept their promises, and there's no better place to start than the journey of Valorant's most requested feature by far, the replay system. Most games don't have a replay system when they launch, and Valorant was no exception. It was immediately clear that the community wanted a replay system though, especially since most of the community came from games like CSGO or Overwatch that did have good replay systems that players had gotten used to. It didn't take long for the dev team to respond to this sentiment though, as only a few weeks after launch, they confirmed the development of a replay system in Ask Valorant number 3. They didn't give any hints towards when it would come out, but just knowing it was in development was enough for most people. This article also confirmed that a gifting system would be coming to the game sometime in the near future, but I'll touch on that more later. As the months passed, we didn't get any more news in the development of the system. Something like a replay system takes a lot of time to make and implement successfully. Even Overwatch didn't get one for years after its release. The community finally got another update on the replay system in another Ask Valorant article posted in early May of 2021, confirming that it was still being talked about internally, but that they couldn't say much yet and that there would be more information coming soon. After that article, it was radio silence once again for a whole year, aside from a small update and a playtester exclusive dev Q&A when Fracture came out, with devs saying that they were still interested, but no promises. When 2022 came around, the community was getting antsy, with no real updates or timelines on when the replay system was coming. The dev team said that there was going to be an update soon TM::, right parentheses, but there was no communication from the devs, at least not anything official. Like I said earlier though, developing something like a replay system took time, even if it was a top priority, which it obviously wasn't. Finally, a year after the last update on the feature, the dev team posted another Ask Valorant article, announcing that there was, as of now, no plans for a player-facing version of a replay system. People were not happy to hear this, to say the least. The community felt like they had been lied to, and that Riot didn't have their priorities right. The answers given in the article itself really rubbed people the wrong way, as it made it seem like they just didn't care about making a replay system despite how many people wanted one, and that they believed other parts of the game like progression or cosmetics mattered more. A few days after this announcement, a Riot employee posted a tweet longer explaining that the devs wanted in-game replays to be a thing, but that things were taking much longer than they wanted. This helped calm people down a bit, as it did not completely shoot down the possibility of a replay system and the dev was being fairly transparent, but it was just a standalone post on a Riot employee's personal account. I want to take a moment to talk about why people actually want to be able to watch replays for anyone that might be more casual. A replay system allows you to go back and record any sick plays or pop-offs you might have had in a game that would be lost otherwise, unless you have a third-party clipping program like Shadowplay running in the background. You can watch back your ranked games to see what you did wrong and how you can improve without having to record them. Professional coaches can watch back matches fully from multiple perspectives. It even makes content creation easier. Personally, for me, it would have made making my fastest Valorant agent video so much easier. This is really only scratching the surface of what a good replay system can do though. The potential is really limitless, and that's why so many people were upset by this announcement. Expectations were low going into 2023, with the Dev Diaries video looking ahead at the rest of the year not mentioning the replay system at all. But a day after that video was published, the Valorant dev team lead announced a couple of things not included in the video, including new servers, mode updates, and most importantly, replays. So apparently, the replay system was back on. She also said that the team did not typically talk about things until they can commit to a date or share actual information because they didn't want to overpromise or hype things up too early, but that the team wanted to be more transparent in the future. The next update came soon after that, with a Rioter saying that the replay system was still coming, but that there was a lot of complex things that went into making a system like that, and that's why it was taking so long. They promised that a replay system was coming, and said that while they didn't know if replays would come this year, they would commit to being more transparent. After that, it was quiet again for another few months, though at least this time we knew it was being developed and that we would hear more before long. The next development would come from an unlikely place though, the launch of Valorant in China. There was a lot of confusion about the launch in China from Western fans. It seemed like the Chinese players had access to game features and cosmetics that everyone else didn't. including a replay system. To clear up the confusion about this, a Rioter explained that the quote-unquote replay system people were talking about was something built into Tencent's game launcher. For context, Tencent is the Chinese company that owns Riot Games, and they used their own launcher for Valorant instead of the Riot client. The system itself was basically just a highlights system you could use to clip good plays, similar to something like Shadowplay. It wouldn't allow you to look back and review matches from multiple perspectives. The Rioter also said that the team was working on a deep dive about where they're at with the replay system, and that they were hoping to share more in the next couple of months to give the community more information. That's the most recent update we've gotten. I expect to see some more information in the fall, as that's what the last update said to expect, though I wouldn't hold my breath until we get something more official. So, with all of that covered, when is the replay system actually coming out? Unfortunately, we don't know. My guess is that it will come out in the middle of 2024, probably in episode 8. Like I said earlier though, we should be getting some more news soon that will be more of a deep dive than anything we have gotten in the past. I'm confident that the replay system will come eventually, we just need to be patient. Moving on from that though, let's talk about something Riot has been even less transparent about, the gifting system. The ability to gift skins is a great thing to have in any game, and it's something that the Valorant community has wanted since day one. Just like with the replay system, the development of the gifting system was first mentioned in Ask Valorant number 3. These early articles are the most useful by far, since the dev team kind of ran out of questions to answer after a while. The Rioter answering the question said that yes, gifting will be coming to Valorant soon, TM, and that the team was aiming to release it around the end of 2020, but that nothing was set in stone quite yet. So as 2020 turned to 2021 with no further news on gifting, people were expecting to hear something soon. Surely a gifting system wouldn't take that much time to develop, right? But as 2021 came to an end, there was still no news at all, and people were starting to lose hope. People were expecting to have a replay system by late 2020 or early 2021 at the latest, and we hadn't gotten any new information since July of 2020. Finally, in the middle of 2022, almost 2 years since the last time gifting was mentioned, it was brought up again in the May 19th Ask Valorant. This is the same one that they mentioned the replay system in, if you're keeping track. The Rioter answering the question said that the dev team was still very interested in a gifting system, but that it was currently something in the backlog, and that there was no timeline as of today. People definitely weren't happy to hear this, but the gifting news was overshadowed by the replay system seemingly being cancelled. To be fair to Riot though, there's a lot of problems that they could have encountered while trying to make gifting work, something I think Ditto's explained pretty well in his gifting video, which I will link in the description. There hasn't been any new information since that last Ask Valorant over a year ago, so the gifting system remains in flux to this day. Hopefully we'll at least get another update on it soon, as it's been more than a year since the last one. Now that we've covered the replay and gifting systems, I want to mention some other interesting topics and answers from past Ask Valorant articles, starting with topic number 1, Valorant points and Radiant points in the Battle Pass. There's a lot to unpack here, and I'm definitely going to talk about this one again in a future video. The Rioter broke their answer down into 2 questions, why there isn't any VP in the Battle Pass, and why there is RP instead. They explained that the team wanted the Battle Pass to be high value on its own, and that they didn't want people buying it just for premium currency. This is fair enough, honestly, though I do strongly think that the Battle Pass needs some work done to make it more worthwhile, but that's a topic for another time. On the topic of Radiant points, they said that the plan was for RP to eventually be used for buying things other than skin upgrades, like gun buddies, or potentially even being able to upgrade sprays and player cards too. If you've been paying attention to Valorant recently though, you'll notice that the idea sounds eerily similar to the newly introduced Kingdom Credits, a currency used to buy gun buddies, sprays, and other small cosmetics. So now that we have Kingdom Credits, what's the plan for Radiant, the currency that only has one use and that no one likes? Once again though, that's a discussion for another time, and I've already talked about this one for way too long already. So let's move on to number 2, new guns in Valorant. This is a simple question with a simple answer, and that answer was no, at least not anytime soon. The Rioters said that the current arsenal of 17 guns was pretty balanced, and that while adding a new gun was possible, it probably wasn't going to happen unless there was a clear gap in the roster. Topic number 3 is the possibility of an agent pick and ban system, similar to the champion draft in League. The short answer is that no, there is not going to be a pick and ban system. which I think is for the best, despite how annoying some people might find Rays. The reasoning basically boils down to pick ban systems being lame, and that if an agent ever needs to be banned for the game to be playable, the balanced team messed up big time. I wouldn't be surprised if the team revisited this question in the future now that we have more agents. But let's move on to number 4, map select for ranked. Basically, the Rioters said that there was no plans to allow players to pick which maps they wanted to play on, since that would make matchmaking much worse, which is reasonable even now that we have 10 maps. It's worth noting that this was brought up again in the May 19th Ask Valorant, with a very similar response. The Rioters said that they were planning on exploring it for their planned in-game tournament mode, which we now know came to fruition in Premiere. Topic number 5 is that infamous abilities don't kill tweet from Riot's CEO. I only really included this one because I thought it was funny that Riot actually addressed the tweet. The Rioter didn't really say anything new, they just expanded on what the CEO said with more detail and nuance. Topic number 6 is abilities that the dev team doesn't want to see in Valorant, and I'm just going to leave this here for a little while and let you figure out what the joke is. On a more serious note though, I think it's for the best that they avoid increased maximum health, as that would be a balancing nightmare. Topic number 7 is updating existing skins, and this is a biggie. The Rioters said that they were interested in the idea of updating old skins to add new variants or upgrades, like adding effects to Spline, but that it would take a lot of time and work that might not end up paying off. They said that there were currently no plans to update existing skins, and that if they ever did decide to do it, it would be far in the future, since they needed to do a lot more research and testing. I honestly think that this idea has either been scrapped completely or has been shelved for a long time, since we haven't seen anything like it in the past 3 years, but who knows. Topic number 8 is the ability to go into the range while queuing, and this is probably one of the most requested features alongside the replay and gifting systems. The Rioter said that it was possible to implement, but that they would rather find more efficient alternatives like an aim trainer or a deathmatch. Going into the practice range is just as taxing on the servers as a normal match, even though there's only one player. They said that there was a lot that needed to be done to make an in-queue aim trainer or deathmatch, but that they were working on adding the ability to join deathmatch games in progress, which they were hoping to finish up in early 2021. Obviously, it is way past 2021, and we still can't join in-progress DM games, so I think it's safe to assume that we aren't going to be able to join one while we're queuing up for a long time. I do really want to see deathmatch get some changes, and I hope that backfilling is still somewhere in the backlog, but honestly most queue times in Valorant are short enough for this kind of thing to be unnecessary. Queue times only really get high if you're 3 or 5 stacking or if you're in Radiant, unlike in a game like Overwatch where queue times seem to be high no matter what. Topic number 9 is the ability to block players so you can't queue with them again, a feature that would be very nice to have in Ranked. The Rioters said that they would need to figure out how to make sure queue times did not increase too much, but that it was an interesting idea. They said that they would think about it for a bit, but that they wanted to keep developing their detection system so that there's less toxic players or throwers in the first place. We haven't gotten any news on this since this article, so who knows if it's still in the works. But we do know that if they did implement this system, DAS nerfs queue times would be astonishing. Topic number 10 is the possibility of a Valorant story mode. I don't talk about it much, but I love Valorant's lore, so a story mode would be a dream come true. Unfortunately though, the Rioters said that a story mode was not in their current plans, but that it was always a slim possibility. It's important to remember how old this question is though. The lore has been expanded so much more since 2020, so who really knows? Topic number 11 is killing the crabs on Breeze, and this is another one that I just thought was kind of funny. The Rioter explained that the crabs couldn't be killed by guns due to a Radianite related exoskeleton, and that you shouldn't fight them unless you want to lose an eye. Anyways, our last topic is a Valorant Netflix series. Now, if you've been paying attention to recent community discussion, you'll know that there was a leak a while back saying that a Valorant movie was coming out in 2025, which I do hope is true since I love the cinematics we already have so much. However, it is just a leak, so take it with a grain of salt. The actual Rioters said that they would love to make something similar to Arcane for Valorant, but that it would take a ton of time to make something as high quality as Arcane. They said to not expect anything too soon, since they wanted to focus mainly on improving the game for a long time. The last thing I want to mention is that Riot has actually been pretty good about keeping their promises. This video doesn't really give them enough credit for that. We haven't gotten any new Ask Valorant articles for a long time, nor any new State of the Agents for that matter, but hopefully we'll get some more news on the replay system soon. And with all of that said, I'll see you next time. This video took a bit longer than I was hoping, but at least it's finally out now. I'm not really too sure what to do next. I do definitely want to start streaming, and I am going to post a poll for which agent to do a history video on next. But I'm not too sure what videos I want to make beyond those. Thank you all for 2k subs, this is still pretty insane to me, and here's hoping that I can get the next video out in good time.